This episode is brought to you by Audi. The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV. It's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Hey, Fidelity. What's it cost to invest with the Fidelity app?
Start with as little as $1 with no account fees or trade commissions on U.S. stocks and ETFs.
That's music to my ears.
I can only talk.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Zero account fees apply to retail brokerage accounts only. Sell order assessment fee not included. A limited number of ETFs are subject to a transaction-based service fee of $100. See full list at fidelity.com/commissions. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
You're listening to the Animation Addicts Podcast with the Rotoscopers. Episode 237, Missing Link, Scratches for Hair. Welcome to the Animation Addicts Podcast with the Rotoscopers, the #1 place to get your animation fix with animation addicts just like you. Each episode, we dive into the wonderful world of animation featuring Disney, DreamWorks, Pixar, and everything in between. From hilarious discussions and movie reviews to interviews with industry insiders, this show's mission is to brighten your day through our love of animation. So hop on your nerdy couch, grab some snacks, and get ready to hang out with your animation besties because it's time to dive into today's episode. Hey there, animation addicts. My name is Chelsea Robson.
And I'm Morgan Stradling.
Morgan, last year, we hinted that we are going to be doing a mythical creatures series. Now, we just got done with the Hotel Transylvania series. So these are all mythical. And now we're going to go into Missing Link, which talks about yet another mythical creature. We actually hinted at this one prior to Hotel Transylvania, but we're still here. We follow through at some point in time.
Indeed. I'm excited for this one. You are excited for this one because you have had this on our list for at least a year and it keeps getting bumped and bumped and bumped and pushed.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure why I was so into this one, but I am. And I'm glad we watched it.
Awesome.
Before we jump into that, I would like to read one of our newest reviews that we got from the podcast. And this one is from Sally Lewich. And Sally says, it's upbeat, fun conversations. 5 stars, definitely my favorite podcast about animation. Love their discussions and how much they nerd out on story and animation tropes. I love how fun and upbeat the hosts are. Their conversations always brighten my day. Sally, we are so glad that you are able to join us. Thank you.
Woot woot.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Lowe's knows what makes SpringFest savings even better are member-only doorbuster deals. Right now, rewards members can save $40 on an Allen & Roth Chesler Gold faucet. Was $99, now $59. Plus, save $110 on a Cobalt 40-volt battery trimmer and blower combo kit. Was $279, now $169. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/24 while supplies last. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Good night, itchy eyes. Good night, sudden sneeze. Good night to your symptoms of allergies. Xyzal is the allergy medicine you take before bed. It provides powerful relief while you rest your head. Not just all night, but all the next day. Zysol keeps working, keeping allergies at bay. And without those annoying symptoms disturbing your rest, you can wake up the next morning feeling your absolute best. Remember, be wise all. Take Zysol. At night.
All right, off we go to our main event. Let's head to Shangri-La.
Oh, but I believe in destiny or whatever it is that brought a friend like you to me. So we say, da-dee-dee, do-dee-do, doodly-doo, da-da-doo-doo, da-dee-dee, do-dee-doo, doodly-doo, da-da-doo-doo, da-dee-dee, doodly-doo, do-dee-doo, da-da-doo.
All right, so this film that we are talking about today is Missing Link. The studio is Laika. The release date was April 7th. No, the release date was April 12th, 2019. The director was Chris Butler. The budget was $102.3 million, and the box office was just $26.2 million. Ugh, that hurts my heart so much reading that, because this was a beautiful film.
It really was.
I forgot as I was watching it that I was watching an animated, a stop motion animated film.
Yeah.
And poor Laika, I feel like they have these amazing ideas and just really unique and different stories. And we've talked about this at length, but something about the stop motion medium just doesn't draw people in unless it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, right? Like the old Rankin Bass stuff that we've grown to love. But what is it about the new stuff that just doesn't resonate? Is it the medium of animation? Is it just the stories that are chosen by Laika are just not that appealing? Is it the marketing? Because like you were saying, you really wanted to review this film and you wouldn't let up on it. And I was just kind of like, I haven't seen it. Do I want to watch it? Hey, it's not a big deal if it gets pushed. Doesn't hurt me, and I finally sat down and watched it, and it was really cute and it was really enjoyable. And it just hurts even more. I can't even imagine being a filmmaker working so tediously on a film like this, like tedious. This is, a real labor of love to make these. And then just to watch, the days go by and the numbers trickle in and it's just a box office flop.
Oh, so it hurts so bad. Especially Laika. I mean, yes, we love Laika. We love what they've put out and everything that they've done, because it's just so amazing to think about, just every movement and how clear and clean it is. They've just become masters at this art form that it's awe-inspiring to see how much just every little aspect of this is the minutia and the details are just amazing. And with every Laika film, I love the last scene where they show exactly how things are made and how it combines the stop motion with the 3D animation with it, and just how everything just comes together perfectly. I love it. And I think with this film, like it didn't have the same engagement value that I think most, especially we just got done watching the Hotel Transylvania series. So the Hotel Transylvania knows who its audience is, I feel like. And it definitely leans more toward the young side. It leans into the cartoony. And this one kind of leans away from it. And because of that, I think that it kind of loses its audience. And it just doesn't really know, or the audience doesn't know that this movie is for them.
Yeah. And I'm looking at, the filmography that Laika has done. They definitely have this goth style that really they've become known for. Coraline by far is probably their most successful film, but not by much. $124 million in the box office for that one, and that was 2009. Paranorman, 107, Box Trolls, 109. So for those ones, they all had a budget, and then Kubo and the Two Strings, 77 million. Budget roughly is around 60 million for these stop motion films. So they don't necessarily blow the budgets out of the water. Now, Missing Link had a budget, like we said, 102 million. They really just put a lot more into this one, and it just tanked.
Yeah.
Ugh, it hurt so bad. Luckily, I'm like thinking, wait, did they go out of business? What's the deal here? Looking, they do have their 6th animated film they're working on called Wildwood. So that is in development right now. It was announced last year. And then they have a live action film that they're going to be doing called 17. So, maybe Missing Link kind of forced them. We have to go in a few different directions with this. It's kind of sad, I really do look up to and admire anyone who is very much dedicated to their passion and their medium and their craft, whether that be stop motion animation, CGI animation, or traditional animation. I think of the Bancroft brothers, who they just opened their new studio, Pencilish, which is really dedicated to preserving 2D animation. And we've seen lots of companies do that before, but it seems like with 2D animation specifically, there hasn't really been a studio that's really taken it back and brought it back, in a way that we would, diehards would love to see. But that is for another day, maybe a nerdy couch discussion. We can discuss all of these things. But today we're going to be talking about Missing Link. Missing Link, overall, as I was watching this, especially the first, 15 minutes, you really get into the plot and the story. I'm like, I like this. I like where this is going. I'm not sure why watching. I definitely do judge a movie by its cover, and in that case, that's the movie poster and the trailer. I wish I wouldn't, but I do. And for some reason, it just didn't come off to me what this was all about. But I really liked Hugh Jackman's character. I loved Link, or Susan. I prefer the name Link. For some reason, Link kind of tied better to me with the title of the film, but it was
it was also just like, it's shorter.
Right. Yeah.
And it's quirky, so the fact that it's
totally
Link, it just feels like, oh, you're a Link. Yeah.
It was cute. And I really liked how Susan Link took matters into his own hands. He reached out to him and said, hey, you know what? I want you to help me. You are the best, Sir Lionel Frost. You need to help me. And so I liked also that that Lionel's motivating reason to get out and do what he does was presented at the beginning very clearly. He wanted to be a part of the society of adventurers. Nothing will stop him, even the society himself, which has denied him again and again and again. It's like the good old boys club, and he will never be a part of it. But we've all probably felt this at some point. It's like, I'm going to show you. And he's going to figure out a way to make it happen. Even if it's not necessarily the best decision for us, it might be better just to move on. But that's his driving force, which sends him, to the Americas. And then he meets Link very quickly. And then they go on this little adventure.
So you have Zach Galifianakis, who played the voice of Mr. Link. And I felt like his voice in this role was super charming.
Yeah, he was very enjoyable to listen to. I think all of the voice actors were really appealing as I was listening to him. I love Hugh Jackman. He just had like a really deep, strong voice. Zach's was great. And Zoe Saldana, her accent was just perfect in this. I liked it a lot.
As they're building up Sir Lionel Frost's character, I like at the very beginning where they start off. He's just lost his assistant because he was eaten for the last time. His assistant can't take it anymore. As they go and they find the Loch Ness monster, and that whole scene I felt was really fun. You can just see how he's like, it doesn't even matter that I have gone and I found this. It's the fact that nobody believes me and I'm not part of this group. It's like, how dare you? Don't you know who I am? And I can definitely see why somebody would want to be part of, it's the goal. It's not really the place. You want to be accepted in these circles. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to be accepted in these circles that people don't like me. Why? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we try so hard.
I know. So you have these different people that come into play as antagonists against Sir Lionel Frost. And that is the head of the adventurers group. And what's really funny is that these groups actually exist today. My uncle
Tell me more.
Has a friend. He is a composer. He actually did all of the music for the walk around music in Disney World Beijing, or Disneyland in Beijing. So he did all of this music that as you're like walking through and like whatever ride that you're on, you'll hear his stuff being played. And he has this collection of musical instruments that is just very vast. One of his other ways of making money is taking these musical instruments that nobody's ever heard of and doing little samples of them and then selling them to other composers just to like have this random sound in the background.
Nice.
He is part of this adventures group. And one time I was talking to him, and actually it was just like my uncle had been talking to him, and he just like passes the phone over to me, and I was like, okay, hi, who are you? And then we ended up talking for like 30 minutes about all of his random stuff. And it was just like, oh, this is cool. You're cool, man.
Nice.
But one of those things is like going on these random adventures, and he's probably in his 60s or so. And he would go down to like South America, and part of the group is that they'll like bring these like 60-foot like python snake skins and be able to show and tell. Like that's part of the group, is coming together, bringing their things and showing everybody what they did and how they did it, and just different artifacts and whatnot from these places that they go to. And so I've always wanted to go to one of these meetings because it just seems so far-fetched and out of my world that I just want to be a part of it. So I can definitely see how Sir Lionel Frost would also want to be a part of this group.
Indeed.
One of my favorite quotes from the movie is at the very, very end when he's like, hand in hand with apes and women, you will never be one of us. Yeah, that goes back to my desire to also be a part of one of these adventure groups.
Well, we'll have to make that happen for you in 2022, Chelsea. I will be on the search. If I hear anyone, I'll send it your way.
Perfect.
What did you like or dislike about Link, the character, Susan?
I really liked his personality and the fact that he speaks so many languages. And he's like, well, he's extremely literal. And that always adds for a good, funny moment. And the fact that he's like, something that touches you here. Oh, in the nipple? No, in the heart. It's just like, what?
Yes.
The funny moments that he has, I just really enjoy, where he's like, oh. Well, actually, I keep making that noise, but I have absolutely no idea what you're saying. Just the way that they worked his personality into the script was very endearing. And I just, you can't help but like him.
Yeah, he was cute and he was fun. He was normal. I liked his design a lot. I really do love Laika and their designs that they come up with, and their stop motion characters and puppets. And I really need to look to see how big this is, because I'm always so awestruck and surprised with how much larger these characters are than I expect.
Yeah.
But I love, they call him a ginger, and he's like, well, I think it's a little bit more auburn.
No, our redneck cousins.
Oh yeah. That was really funny. So, skipping all the way to the end, you think, they kind of have similar parallel stories where they're wanting to go and they want to be accepted by a group. In the case of Lionel, it's of this society of adventurers. And with Link, Susan, I'm going to call him Link. Okay. I'm going to call him Link because I like it. So with Link, he wants his brothers of the Himalayas, right?
Right.
And immediately when I'm thinking, I'm like, well, I mean, but they're kind of designed for the cold. I know it's cold in Washington, but I don't know if it's that cold. But okay, we'll give it a try. And they both end up being shunned. So even though they are two totally different characters, maybe species even, they have similar paths where they end up being shunned by the group that they were hoping to be accepted into. And really, there's nothing that he can do to change that. At the very beginning, you see very well that this isn't necessarily going to go too well. Like you said, when they call him a redneck,
right?
Like, not all Americans are rednecks, okay? But they are. That's what they think. And, he literally has, red, auburn, ginger fur. So story checks out again. But they just are really high and mighty. They have this sort of ruler who, commands everything. And their duty is to protect the Shangri-La. It must not be, no one must know, not even our cousin redneck, right?
Uh-huh.
So it was just kind of sad, because you're hoping like, hey, you're like us, come on in. You'd hope people would be more welcoming, but even whether it's the animal world or, the animal, not animal, the Sasquatch world and human world, people are mean.
Yeah. We do create our own little niches, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So Emma Thompson played the voice as the elder, and I felt like she did a good job. I wasn't expecting her. I wasn't, when she started talking, I was like, oh, okay. But she does have a very affluent air about her. And another one of my favorite, most of my favorite lines tended to come at the very, very end. But her line was like, "The people that we don't want here are trying to leave. Get them."
Yeah.
And it's like, she's going to kill us. No, we're not going to kill you. We're just going to put you in a pit and let you think about this for the rest of your life. It's barbaric. No, it is funny because it does poke fun at the imperialist England, I guess, the colonization tendencies. And it does poke fun at that at the same time, kind of just like going with it. So I appreciated that balance.
Yeah.
So we had one of the major antagonists was the man with scratches for hair.
Scratches for hair? What do you mean?
He's bald, but he has giant like cuts across his head that make it look like hair.
Oh, the henchman guy.
Yeah.
Stank. Willard Stank.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Scratches for hair.
It was. Am I wrong?
Yes. Now when you put it that way, yes. And?
I mean,
what do you have to say about it?
Oh, sorry. So I felt like his character was fun, or at least a good foil to the whole thing. I don't necessarily think that his character was fun, but you didn't have to like think too much to be like, yep, he's the baddie.
Right. Yeah, he was pretty literal. He was pretty straightforward, but it was needed just to get us somewhere. I liked that immediately, as if you couldn't already tell that the Great Society, the Society of Great Men, they were going to be foils and bad guys.
Right.
They couldn't be there along the way, but they sent someone to make sure this wouldn't happen. They didn't want this Sasquatch coming out and, ruining the idea of great men, right? Because if there's something else, it kind of brings humans down a level.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that they sent him along, but and it created a little bit of tension and drama. Why did I know that as soon as they walk into the ye old saloon, there was going to be a bar fight? Someone was going to get thrown out. I mean, you just threw a blanket over the Yeti and called it good, right? That's never going to work. I mean, no one seemed to care. They were giving him some squinty eyes, but yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting part because he's dressed as a man the entire time. Like they give him clothing because he cannot be naked. Come on now. So they give him this clothes, and it's like the fact that he's walking amongst everyone and no one really cares. Like to me, it says that he's probably not that different, and no one would care. So live your life, dude. You don't need to be in hiding.
Yeah, but I really liked the end how I liked that Lionel, he really did have an arc and growth.
Mm-hmm.
We see that he is very selfish and he's very him first, and Adelina calls him out on that.
Yes.
Which is the reason that their relationship fell apart. And you kind of think, oh, are they going to get back together? But she's like, I deserve a greater man, or someone better than you.
Right.
Like you've approved and you're better, but I still have higher standards, which I appreciated. I liked it. I thought she was a great character. I loved her design. I like that she followed him and she ended up sticking around. But, she does push Lionel because she's dated him, if you will. She knows his better and worse halves, and she could see very clearly how he's mistreating Link and how, he's kind of just using him as a means to an end, and she is not here for that. And so I thought that was a really great character moment for her to stand up for the little guy, even though he's pretty big, and have Lionel change his ways. And he really does. It's not only at the end does he change, he changes midway through, and they really kind of become partners. And at the very end, I just loved how it ended, how they just became partners in adventure, and that photo of them hanging out. I'm like, oh, this is so perfect. It's just, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. I felt like the whole thing had even though it was a little slower than I think we're used to, especially with, as we mentioned before, animated films. This was not in any way Hotel Transylvania speed, but I feel like because of that, you're able to just kind of follow it a little bit more. You travel by map a couple times, which, every good movie needs a travel by map moment. Let's just skip all these moments and let's just, we're on to the next city. And I feel like the speed of it, the pacing was consistent, which I can appreciate. So it doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be slow. It just has to be consistent. And you have to feel like this is going somewhere. And I feel like it did. That being said, it was harder to pay attention to as you went on.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's less engagement in that area, but I feel like I'm kind of ready to rate this. Are you?
Yes, this is one of our shortest reviews ever.
I know. Then that's kind of sad. But is there anything else you want to throw in this?
I don't know. I mean, I want to feel like I want to do it a little bit more justice than that, but
okay.
We kind of covered it all. I suppose. It's harder when you're seeing movies for the first time and you don't have, and that's why I really do love going back and reviewing old movies that we have a lot of nostalgia for, or movies that are just so quirky and bizarre, out of this world funny that there's a lot to talk about, right?
Right.
Not necessarily that it's a good movie, but there's a lot to talk about. But this one was just kind of middle of the road. Like, it was good, but it wasn't so good that, you know, I just want to gush about it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And I think the reason why it was on my list of things to review for so long, one, just because I appreciate the style and I appreciated it more than I necessarily loved it. But I did feel like the movie itself was charming, and there was enough to go at it that I felt engaged. And there were enough funny moments that I felt like, oh, that's cute. But yeah, because it kind of just glides along, it doesn't have a lot that I want to talk about.
Yeah, that is fair. So what would you rate it?
I think I'm going to give this 3.5 stars because of the fact that I'm not like hugely gushing over it, but I felt like it deserves more than just a 3-star. I feel like that's where I'm at.
I'm going to give it 3 stars.
Okay.
Watching it, I loved it enough. I thought the characters were engaging. There weren't too many characters, which I do appreciate. You know, it kept it clean. It kept it simple. It very clear we understood the characters' ambitions and their goals and their driving force. It had a very clear end. You know, we wanted to go up to the Himalayas. So that kept pushing the plot along with, you know, our, you know, ticking time bomb element, not ticking time bomb, where we had the bad guy who was kind of chasing them. So kind of forcing them to get on with it, if you will. Animation, stunning, beautiful, 10 out of 10 for the animation. Midway through, like I said, I said, wow, I forgot that this wasn't CGI. It's so smooth. It's the transitions and the animation is like butter. Their characters are great. The voice acting, you know, 10 out of 10 all around. But just as far as the story and how compelling it was, there was just something lacking. And I can't quite put my finger on it, unfortunately. It was a good show. I don't think $26 million level. I feel like this should have at least had $100 million in the box office. But, you know, audiences disagreed. So I'm just gonna give it 3 stars. So, okay, I want to rank this, Chelsea. We're going to do a little ranking with our other mythical creatures. Mythical creatures. It's like, yeah, our mythical creature series. I mean, there's so many mythical creatures that could include dragons. We're just talking about sort of like Yeti type things. So there's Abominable, which we reviewed last month. And then there's this film, Missing Link. Now, there also is a film called Smallfoot, which is by Warner Animation Group, which also is about, it's based on an unpublished book called Yeti Tracks. So it's about a whole bunch of Yetis, and we need to add that to our list so we can do that. That one did $214 million. That came out a year prior. Both Abominable and Missing Link came out in 2019, and Smallfoot came out the year prior in 2018. I remember that Smallfoot existed. I'm looking at the movie poster now, but I never saw it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was the thing, but I had never heard anyone talk about it. So was it a thing? LeBron James is in it? Oh dear. Danny DeVito, Zendaya, Channing Tatum, Channing
Tatum. Like, this is part of his I don't know. This is just part of his big movie chunk of time where he was just cast in everything. Which, you know, good for him. Yeah. And then you got James Corden. You've got a lot of Danny DeVito in there. I mean, come on, Danny DeVito. You can't beat him.
Who doesn't love Danny DeVito?
I mean, I'm not gonna spoil my review on that movie, but yeah, we could do that one.
Okay, we'll add it to the list.
Okay.
We have a few other things coming up. Like we mentioned on our last episode, we are doing our 10th anniversary mailbag special. So this is an AMA, ask us anything, or send us your voicemails or your questions, or just anything you want to talk about. We are here. It's open mic night. We're going to be reminiscing about the past 10 years. If you have a favorite moment or a place where you were listening to the podcast, your favorite tradition with the podcast, whatever it is, call in or email in and let us know. You can send us an email at contact@rotoscopers.com. I just realized that last episode, I didn't give you an email. I said, hey, send us your emails, and I never told you how. So contact@rotoscopers.com and rotoscopers.com/voicemails to leave us a voicemail. We love to hear from you, and we're excited to party together, our favorite imaginary party for our 10th year special. So thank you so much. And of course, if you want to know everything about this episode, any of the links, the show notes, go to rotoscopers.com/237. And that's all I have for today. Until next time, we are the Rotoscopers. Yes. Scratches for hair. Yes, do it.
Sound good?
We did it. Do 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 do. We did it. Do 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 do. Do do do. We did it. Yeah. So.
Yay.
Okay. Cool. Well, You've been listening to the Animation Addicts Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and be sure to leave us a 5-star review. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to help spread the word, be sure to share the podcast with your friends on social media. Just don't forget to tag us at Rotoscopers on Instagram and use the hashtag Animation Addicts. For all the links and full show notes for this episode, go to rotoscopers.com/podcast. Now, if you still can't get enough for your animation fix, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and visit rotoscopers.com for more animation news, reviews, and